Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. You remember the Nord Stream pipeline, right?
What? I've moved on.
But there's a new report out. This is from August 14th in the Wall Street Journal. They have a new person who did it on a drunken evening, a rented yacht, and the real story of the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage.
This is unreal. So they're saying some yahoos.
They're saying private businessmen funded the shoestring operation, which was overseen by top general. President Zelensky approved the plan, then tried unsuccessfully to call it off. This is such garbage. Do you know who did it? NATO and the United States did it.
With help from Norway.
There will be no.
Here's Joe Biden. Here's Joe Biden telling you that there won't be, this is back when he could kind of talk, that there won't be a Nord Stream pipeline.
There will be, there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
I know a drunk guy.
But how will you do that?
A drunken party on a yacht.
Exactly. Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
And the way we'll do it is we'll get Navy SEALs, we'll get these high explosives. So
they've already planted the explosives. They've already planted the explosives.
They've already been planted.
Yep.
So here's Anthony Blinken.
This is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity.
So when the Nord Stream pipeline blew up, this is what Anthony Blinken said about it. What?
This is also a tremendous opportunity.
Tremendous opportunity.
Tremendous opportunity to once and for all remove the dependence on Russian energy, and thus to take away from Vladimir Putin the weaponization of energy as a means of advancing his imperial designs. That's very significant, and that offers tremendous strategic opportunity.
I have a question for Secretary Blinken. But what about the environmental damage of the most greenhouse gas? Well, is more because I thought that's a real thing that I have to be afraid of.
Let's listen to Victoria Nuland. She also said something. Come on, why isn't this working?
Victoria Noodleman. Her correct name is Noodleman. She changed it to Newland.
Here it is.
Her dumb fuck husband.
With regard to Nord Stream
Noodleman.
2, we continue to have very strong and clear conversations with our German allies, and I want to be clear with you today. If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
What?
So they couldn't say it any clearer that they're going to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah.
Right? But here's this new stupid article in the Wall Street Journal. I swear to God, here they are. They're saying it was a private businessman funded a shoestring operation. Which do you want to read some of it? I'll read some of it. On May 2022, a handful of senior Ukrainian military officers and businessmen had gathered to toast their country's remarkable success in halting
What? What? Okay, good.
And buoyed by alcohol and patriotic fervor, somebody suggested a radical. I mean, the jumping off sentence is a joke. It's a laugh line. Their remarkable success in halting the Russian invasion.
Is that why they still need money? Is that why they still need constant money? Because it was going so well. And they were celebrating these yahoos. Wow.
Is that why they're kidnapping young men off street corners and forcing them into the military?
You should have said a UFO blew it up. If they said a UFO blew it up, that would be more believable than what I'm looking at right now.
Buoyed by an alcohol and patriotic fervor, somebody suggested a radical next step. Hey, let's destroy the Nord Stream pipeline. Just over 4 months later, in the small hours of the September 26th, Scandinavian seismologists picked up signals indicating an underwater earthquake or a volcanic eruption hundreds of miles away near the Danish island of Bornholm. They were caused by three powerful explosions and the largest ever recorded release of natural gas equivalent to the annual CO2 emissions of Denmark.
Wait, so they were drunk for 4 months?
I
so
guess
they came up with a stupid plan, and they realized the only way to make it work was if we stay this drunk.
You got to stay drunk.
4 months, yeah.
One of the most audacious acts of sabotage in modern history. The operation worsened an energy crisis in Europe and assault on a critical infrastructure that could be considered an act of war. Under international law, theories swirled about who was responsible. Was it the CIA? Could Putin himself have set the plan? Why would Putin blow up his own pipeline?
Theories swirled around the toilet that is our government.
Now, for the first time, the outlines of the real story can be told.
Oh,
Kurt.
please go. Oh, my God.
The Ukrainian
I say the things I
operation.
want to say.
This is the real. The Ukrainian operation cost around $300,000, according to the people who participated in it. It involved a small rented yacht. That's it. Just a yacht with a 6-member crew, including trained civilian divers. One was a woman whose presence helped create the illusion they were a group of friends on a pleasure cruise. I always laugh when I read media speculation about some huge operation involving secret services because it's true. That's why. Submarines, drones, satellites. One officer who was involved in the plot said the whole thing was born out of a night of heavy boozing. And the iron determined that stake. This is
That was a crime. You just got done telling me this was a major crime. What do you mean the guts?
Ukrainian President Zelensky initially approved the plan, according to one officer who participated and 3 people familiar with it. But later, when the CIA learned of it and asked the Ukrainian president to pull the plug, he ordered a halt, those people said.
The voice of reason, the CIA.
Zelensky's commander-in-chief, Valery Zaluzhny, who also is leading the effort, nonetheless, he forged ahead. The journal spoke to 4 senior Ukrainian defenses and security officials who either participated in or had to. This is unbelievable.
Oh, a Ukrainian told you what it was? So that's how you know it's a lie.
That's how you know.
If a Ukrainian said it, it's a fucking lie. It's an easy rule of thumb for you.
Portions of their account were corroborated by a nearly 2-year German police investigation. Oh, my God. Which has obtained evidence including email, mobile, and satellite phone communications, as well as fingerprints and DNA samples from the alleged sabotage team.
Will they be brought to justice?
The Germany inquiry hasn't directly linked the President Zelensky to the clandestine operation. General Saluni, now Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom, said in a text exchange that he knows nothing of any such operation and that any suggestion to the contrary is a mere provocation. So the guy who they say is leading it, he's not admitting it. Who are you getting to admit it? Somebody no one knows?
Yeah. I'm supposed to not believe Seymour Hersh, but I'm supposed to believe this drivel.
I'm supposed to believe this. This got printed in the Wall Street Journal. Ukraine's
armed forces. Of course it did. Of course it did.
He added, were authorized to conduct overseas missions, and he therefore wouldn't have been involved. A senior official of the main Ukrainian intelligence service, SBU, denied his government anything. So everybody who's at the top is denying it. They got some pretend people to say they did it.
Wink, wink. So I'm supposed to go, oh, those plucky Ukrainians. There was a crime, but we can look the other way because Putin, blah, blah, Putin.
Putin has publicly blamed the United States for the attacks. A senior Russian diplomat in Berlin echoed that claim and said that the German investigation findings were fairy tales worthy of the Brothers Grimm.
I think fairy tales are more believable than that. I think he's wrong.
The findings could upend relations between Kiev and Berlin, which has provided much of the financing and military equipment to Ukraine. Second only to the U.S., some German political leaders may have been willing to overlook evidence pointing to Ukraine for fear of undermining domestic support for the war effort. But German police are politically independent. I bet. I bet they are.
Go on.
And their investigation took on a life of its own as they pursued one lead after another. An attack of this scale is a sufficient reason to trigger the collective defense clause of NATO, but our critical infrastructure was blown up by a country that we support with massive weapons shipments and billions in cash, said a senior German official familiar with the probe. So this guy says, so the official version of the Nord Stream bombing, as of Washington Post, now is that Zelensky himself ordered this guy Zaluzhny, former commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, to carry out the bombing, and that the CIA tried to stop them, but the Ukrainians went ahead and did it anyway.
Wow. I like to say the hardworking men and women of the CIA, fuck you for your service, twats.
even if one wants to believe that last part, highly unlikely, it's still worth reflecting on the fact that the official story is now that Germany, for the past 2.5 years, has been sending tens of billions of euros and huge amounts of military machinery to the country that committed the worst act of industrial terrorism against Germany in its history.
Suck it, Germany.
Resulting in a massive economic fallout in order to fight the country that built the pipeline in the first place.
You gutless, ballless Europeans, suck up. Enjoy your energy shortage for believing this dumb shit. Enjoy it.
Thomas Hennigan says, if you really believe this was done by some wayward crack Ukrainian weekend warriors, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. I have a vaccine I'd like to sell you. This is a red herring narrative designed to deflect from the obvious culprit, which is NATO. And this guy, Thomas, says, I've written extensively that I believe the U.S. to be behind the attack in one form or another. The point I was making here was that Germany's behavior is absurd, even according to the official narrative that Ukraine did it. I thought was pretty obvious. Well, there you go.
He wrote the Wall Street Journal thing?
Is that the guy? I don't know who that guy is. I don't know. Did he write that?
If he wrote that Wall Street Journal article, that's not obvious. I mean, what he's saying in the tweet would make sense, but that's not what I looked at that you showed.
This guy says, don't believe any of the bullshit stories in the media about the attacks on Nord Stream. When a source within an intelligence service passes something to a journalist, there's an agenda at play that has nothing to do with the truth, but everything to do with pushing a specific narrative. The journalist allows themselves to be used, even though they know that they are spreading bullshit lies. We only know this for sure. We only know this for sure. Joe Biden and Victoria Nuland both warned that the gas supply to Germany would be stopped if Russia invaded Ukraine. Even Anthony Blinken stated that this is a tremendous opportunity. Who ultimately carried out the act is actually not that important, but it is unthinkable that the CIA and the Pentagon were not involved. It is also unthinkable that German investigators are investigating this on their own initiative. The main question is, why is Zelensky being maneuvered into this position right now? There you go. So there you go. That's the latest bullshit story of all bullshit stories to ever be told.
Oh, I'm a good Democrat. I'm just thinking about getting the first woman of colors to become the president. I don't think about any of this. And I still believe in climate change, even though the country I support did the worst emissions of greenhouse gases
ever.
And I don't think it's suspicious. I think you're wrong for showing me that.
So I have to run. I have to go cover a protest, and then I'm going on the floor of the DNC convention tonight, and then we'll see what happens. It's really not as exciting to be here as you would think. I just like Chicago. But anyway, I got to go take a shower, and usually I shower before the show, but I didn't tonight. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and hopefully we'll be back. We might be doing a show tomorrow to cover what happened today. We might not. We might. And we might. Richard Medhurst got arrested. Did you see that, Kurt? They arrested him. The cops were waiting for him at Heathrow Airport, and they arrested him because he's telling the truth about stuff.
Oh, it was not. They didn't have like a thing they say he did besides just stuff he said?
Yeah, just stuff he said.
Wow. Hey, the UK's coming. Where it's going to be just like, in UK what they're doing to people, right? They have a one in, one out policy with prison. So dangerous criminals get put out to bring in someone who tweeted. And you can watch the clip of the British guy. He openly says once they get to prison, they're going to get a warm welcome from the East Indian gangs.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing in England right now. Unbelievable. That's what happens when you give up your guns. That's what happens.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.